guys, welcome to my channel. My name is ReadingBear and I hope you are ready for some more stories. And today, we'll take a look at some new entitled people content. If you enjoyed my content, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and post some bear emojis in the comment. And now, let's dive right into the stories.
The first story is entitled Ex-Friend Threatens to Sue Me for My Uterus. My ex-friend is commonly called a Karen. She's very entitled and has a bad habit of actually screaming for managers over the smallest things. I have watched this 35-year-old woman scream, "Get me the manager or I will call the cops," at a restaurant because the waiter accidentally gave her iced tea instead of sweet tea. What are the cops going to do? I don't want to use the name Karen because it's overused already. So, let's call her E. E and I used to be friends. I can't remember why. She comes off as sweet and caring, but she is the most entitled person I have ever met. E also struggles with fertility and is desperate for children. She tried to adopt a child, but because of her mental health problems and unstable lifestyle of hotel hopping, she was denied. She doesn't have a job, she's technically homeless, her boyfriend is a 21-year-old douchebag, and she tends to hoard animals that all die in unusual circumstances. Her last cat died mysteriously at only 2 years old and was perfectly healthy. I was there when she adopted him and heard the vet state he was healthy. Suddenly he dies and she claims it was heart disease, then claims it was a seizure, then claims it was kidney problems, then says that he somehow flew across the room and purposely aimed into the wall. Yeah, a little suspicious. My other friend Kara did call animal control on her and found she had 6 rats, 5 hamsters, 1 dog, 4 cats. She claimed all of them were emotional support animals and that they were medical equipment and taking them away would be against the law. Big yikes. She's not well. A while ago she was saying how desperate she is to have children and was talking about looking for a surrogate. She wanted someone to carry a child for her for free with a demand for the surrogate. All for free. Now we all but her know that crap isn't free. Human incubators isn't a free service and mistreating anyone in that job is a good way to be in a legal battle. I listened because, well, me explaining the truth to her would be like me placing my head in a garbage disposal. Completely pointless and 100% painful. I make a comment how one day uterine transplants might become more successful and more common and how great that would be. I bring it up because I'm not entirely in love with my uterus. I don't plan on ever having children and I'm not against the idea of uterine donation. I still cannot find a doctor that will take away my baby-making abilities because I'm too young to make such a decision. I'm 27. I feel like if I wanted to change my mind I would have before now. Not the point, sorry. I make the joke of me wanting to donate my uterus to someone who needs, and deserves, it since I have no plans on using its baby-holding abilities. That's when he says, "Yeah, then I would have you give me your uterus so I could finally have a child." Now I thought she was joking. I truly believed this was a joke. It wasn't. E and I had a falling out, thank goodness, and I thought we could just part ways quietly. Yeah, she had other plans. She posts all over Facebook and pings me saying I had made a legal agreement to give her my uterus or to be her surrogate. Never once did I say such things, and now she has her friends after me, harassing me in DMs for giving her false hope and mental anguish. E is threatening to sue me for my uterus and for causing extra trauma by not following through. I'm just confused and baffled. I'm also curious, how can she afford a lawyer if she can't afford food for her many animals? Are lawyers suddenly cheaper than I recall? But also, last time I checked you can't be sued to give up a body part, can you? Especially if no legal agreement was ever made, right? I'm lucky to have a lawyer family friend. He's agreed to help set me up with a meeting with a colleague of his if this turns serious. It's doubtful it will, but he is definitely having a public meltdown over our friendship ending. Oh, and yeah, I wish this was a fake story. I wish I was lying here. This person is not mentally sound, and she has threatened people over the ridiculous things. This isn't a new behavior for her. In the past she threatened to call CPS on someone online over a disagreement. She bragged about doxing the person's address to me and boasted about calling CPS on them for spending more time disagreeing with E than watching their child. This person E was threatening was a mother of a 14-year-old. It wasn't like the mother was neglecting attention to an infant or toddler or young child. The next story is titled Father Complains for Months About Money After Learning I'm Moving for Work, but I think he just enjoys complaining. Hopefully this fits. My father has been complaining about bills and his financial situation for the past few months after learning I got a new job in October that requires me to move to a big city several hours away by the end of January. Since this news, he's complained about needing financial help on a near-daily occurrence but will never give a straight answer on how much help he needs. He refuses to take money or checks. He's even ripped up a check in my face during an argument about me not helping when I pointed to the check I gave him a few days earlier. He's the kind of person who's told me to save up my money to move but then talks crap about struggling financially and not receiving help from me or my sibling, who is normally away at college. He'll complain to family, neighbors, literally anyone who will listen. I'll be grabbing a sandwich between meetings or will walk past him in the house and he'll make passive-aggressive comments about no one helping. I know it's a guilt tactic and I don't feed into it, but it's wild to see given the effort I've gone to try and meet his complaints. I tried giving him a check as my Christmas gift as a last-ditch effort because he wouldn't tell anyone what he wanted for Christmas. Despite knowing he'd probably not cash it, I needed to do something at minimum for him. Well, he got into an argument with a relative on the phone tonight about his money situation. I left the house while he was on the phone. After his call, he messaged me and ripped up the check I wrote him, shocker. While still complaining about money. Can't say how happy I am that I'm escaping this in 2 weeks. The next story is titled Am I the A-hole for getting a neighbor's son arrested over their work? I, 28 work as an electrician and recently found myself in a predicament with my grandmother's neighbors. I visited her early this month at her request to check out a faulty outlet. In the process of diagnosing and repairing her issue, I found stuff of greater concern. This was her new backup generator system that was not up to code in the least. Of the many issues with the workmanship, there were 2 unforgivable ones. The first was no interlock transfer panel on the main breaker unit. Having one is legally required for these systems as it prevents backflow. The second one was the Widowmaker connection on the generator. Widowmaker cables are both not up to code and are illegal due to the electrocution hazard. This led to me documenting everything before speaking to my grandma. She was understandably upset and wanted everything to be brought up to code. This led to her asking if I could handle everything for her, which I agreed to do. The first thing I did was try to get the original contractor to fix their work. The contractor turned out to be her neighbor's son Mark. I called Mark and asked him to come by as there were problems with the system. When he did, I painstakingly pointed out every violation that had been made with the system. Afterwards, I gave 2 options, either refund the work and be reported or repair it to code. At first, he refused and denied any code violations until I pulled my license out. He then quickly changed the tune and agreed to repair the work. Before letting him even start, I asked for his legally required license. The moment I asked this, he tried to lie about how he doesn't need one. I had none of it and sent him home saying that we expect a refund, and he will be reported for unlicensed work. I stayed true and reported him, which led to inspections from the electrical company and others. Things came to a head this week when he was not only fined but arrested as well. This was confirmed by his mother, who called my grandma asking to speak with me. When I did, she was not happy and said some spicy things before I hung up. Am I the a-hole? Comment said definitely not the a-hole here. This is a lot more serious than just changing out a fixture or other handyman type work. Why did grandma throw the work his way instead of having you do it in the first place? Did his mother give her a sob story about Mark desperately needing work and money? Another comment said not the a-hole. My great uncle had a helpful neighbor who ripped him off blind. As his health deteriorated, one of his nephews, a well-respected attorney, took over his finances and after a couple of discussions with the neighbor regarding his qualifications, clawed back some money and cut the leech off. It's sad, but people do take advantage of elderly people. The next story is titled Revenge Served Cold. In high school, I was a banquet waiter. I was setting up the tables and the event was just starting. I notice a guy in a wheelchair coming to the door. It's winter time, and I hold the door open, waiting for him to come through. A Karen loudly complains, "It's so cold, close the door." Geez. In comes the guy, I give her a look, and the guy comes in and thanks me. Well, about 45 minutes later the event is in full swing. The hall seats about 250 people, so lots of tables, and it's time to serve salad. Sometimes I have to haul a tray full of 10 plates, and it can be a burden when you have to go to other side of the room. I forget what happened, but one of the plates tips, and some of the bigger vegetables, tomatoes, etc. drops to the floor. I pick it up, put it back on the tray, carefully remembering to not serve it and to bring it back when I serve the others. Well, wouldn't you know, I hear a familiar voice sarcastically say something to the effect of, "I guess I'm not getting a salad." Ridiculous. All I can say is Karen got her salad right away, and I no longer needed to worry about bringing the plate back on my tray. The next story is titled Taking a Liar's Side. Hey guys, it's me again. I know I haven't posted in quite a while, I'm sorry. Things have just been crazy with work and school and being really sick, so I haven't had the time. I promise that I will be typing up and posting the story of the Nah, and the Nah wannabe, probably this weekend. But today I wanted to post a bit of a rant, since I honestly think this might be the beginning of the end of my time of employment in this hellhole. So, the Nah wannabe is no longer employed with us, and I will include her story with the story of the Nah, and they hired a new lady to replace her. I saw that she had hotel experience and was like, cool, finally someone who knows what they're doing. And yeah, while she does everything well on the computer and hardly ever makes mistakes on paperwork, she is not without her problems. The biggest one we've noticed so far, her attitude. She is of the mind that she can't ever leave the front desk, no one is the boss of her, she doesn't have to mop or keep the coffee or water fresh, and she doesn't have to do bucket checks. Like, her attitude really sucks. Another thing, it might just be me though, but she talks. Like, a lot. I'm all for talking and everything, but when you literally don't take a breath in between sentences and stories and crap, it's a bit much. I get overwhelmed with too much auditory stimulation, so it's a bit too much for me to handle. But anyways, let's start the story off with yesterday morning. I was feeling really drained at the end of my shift, because I was running on 4 hours of sleep, plus I've been dealing with an intestinal infection for 6+ months now, so I really wasn't in the mood to listen to her prattling on about stuff. When I'm tired, I tend to be pretty short with people. I know it's a problem, I'm working on it, and my ability to deal with noises decreases drastically. Anyways, she came in around 10 minutes early as usual, and started talking my ear off as usual, even though she could see that I was trying to read my book. I pretty much gave her monosyllabic answers, which she apparently didn't like, because she started getting an attitude with me. She tried to copy my numbers for the cash drawer instead of counting it herself, and when she got to the hundreds, she saw I had $100 in hundreds, but there was none in the drawer. She questioned it, and I told her she couldn't just copy my numbers because I took cash during my shift. Then she asked if my numbers were correct for the safe, and if she could trust my counting wasn't bad. After I had clocked out, I sat in the lobby to wait for my wife to pick me up since she dropped me off the night before. She came up and asked if I mopped the floor during my shift, and I told her yes, I mop at least once or twice a night, depending on how bad the floors are. She then proceeded to start complaining about my coworker and how she was lecturing her about her job duties. But whatever, my wife showed up, and I went home. Last night, I came into work to replace the coworker the new lady had been complaining about. Since I'm pretty good friends with that coworker, I told her straight out what the lady had said. She wasn't happy at all, which honestly I wouldn't be either. But in the morning, I decided I was gonna drop my paper with my numbers for the cash drawer, giving the lady no option but to actually physically count the drawer. She stormed in 2 minutes before clock-in time, didn't acknowledge me or anything. So I was like, alright, fine. Went out and started my car because it was chilly out, and when it was time I clocked out and left. Well, my coworker texted me later and said that apparently first shift lady was crying her eyes out. When she got to work this afternoon, she texted me about the whole thing. I'll type it out verbatim. Coworker. Apparently she was crying cause you were too mean to her. Me. You're ducking crapping me, right? I didn't even ducking do anything. She's the one who came in this morning and ignored me. I was short with her the other day BC I was tired AF and not feeling well and just wanted to go home and go to bed, so excuse me that I wasn't in the mood to listen to her prattling on about stupid crap. Coworker. Yeah, I ducking no. She didn't talk to me much but duck it was nice. Me. She seriously needs to get over herself. She's how ducking old and crying just because I didn't want to talk to her. Coworker. Manager said she's gonna make up lists for every shift to get done and 3 strikes and you're fired. And she told me people need to get along up there and talk and not just ignore each other. Me. You're ducking kidding me, right? So basically, my manager is just automatically taking her side without even asking what my side of the story was. I'm a little pissed off right now, to be completely honest. Since when have coworkers needed to get along? I dunno, maybe I'm overreacting, but on top of all the other bullcrap going on at that place right now, this is just the cherry on top and I'm so done with the crap. The next story is titled, You Don't Understand I Travel a Lot, Yeah, but that still doesn't make you correct. A crazy lady called me on the phone tonight about her reservation for the next business day but booked it for the current day. She wanted to check in at 2 a.m. and have it count for the next business day. So she expected to check in at 2 am and stay in her room for over 24 hours and pay for one night. It wasn't those guests that are confused by hotel time, day rollover etc. Either she full-on expected me to break the rules for her. She had a reservation for the current day that she made through Central. A little after 12 a.m. she calls. Crazy lady. I need to check in early at 2 a.m. Me. I'm sorry? CL. I need to check in early at 2 a.m. and check out the next day. My spidey senses are on high alert from her tone alone. I have dealt with people like this before. Me. I understand, our check-in time is at 3 p.m. the day of the reservation. If you require an early check-in I can certainly do that after I close out the day around 3 a.m. CL. No, I need to check in at 2 a.m. for the next day, not tonight. Me. Okay, our check-in time is 3 p.m. After 3 a.m. I can check you in for the next business day with an early check-in fee in addition to the regular room rate for the night. CL. Awkward pause. I travel a lot and that has never been an issue. Me. Thinking to myself, yeah right, liar. As posted on our website, our check-in time is 3 p.m. If you require an earlier check-in I can provide that with an early check-in fee in addition to the regular rate for the day. People like this can sniff blood a mile away and want you to get flustered so they can use that against you. There's no way I'm checking her in at 2 a.m. for the next day because that's impossible, and even if it weren't I wouldn't do that without an early check-in fee. I don't doubt she travels a lot and probably twisted some poor arm somewhere and got what she wanted, but I can't grant her request. CL. Another long pause. I have stayed at your brand a lot and they have always helped me out, so you're telling me you can't or don't know how. Me. Our check-in time is 3 p.m. on. CL. You said that already. I need to check in at 2 a.m. for tomorrow. Me. Okay, I can do this too, ma'am. You booked a room for tonight. I can check you in at 2 a.m. However, you will have to check out at 11 a.m. and if you want to extend your stay for an additional night, we can certainly process that for you here at the hotel before 11 a.m. and of course you are always welcome to dial our central reservations and they will gladly accommodate you as well. She hung up on me and a few minutes later a booking agent from Central called me for clarification and I told him what I told her. They put me on pause several times as they relayed what I said earlier to her again. She was lying to them, claiming that someone she spoke to earlier at our FD told her she could check in early and avoid an early check-in fee. She then demanded my name apparently and I refused to give it because of her misrepresentation of our interaction. I told them she can contact my management personally, but her demands are something I simply cannot provide. She insisted on getting my name and I was done. I told them I won't give that info and I've already explained to her several times our policy about early check-ins, and if she doesn't cancel her reservation before I run audit I will charge her as a no-show. She never showed up and didn't cancel the reservation, so I charged her. I'm off today, so I left a bunch of notes in case the crazy idiot shows up. If you enjoyed the video, please subscribe to the channel and post some bear emojis in the comments.